Did you kill her?
Don't ask me that. Don't ask me that.
In life, there are many crazy psychopaths. We can clearly see it throughout history. We find thousands of cases around the world about twisted serial killers who kill daily and almost without overlooking anyone. There are a large amount seen in the United States, a country known for hosting this type of person in large numbers. Today I'm going to talk about a famous influencer named Ali Abulaban, a person whom no one would suspect could end up murdering his own wife and his supposed lover in cold blood. Welcome to Guilty or Not, where we take a look at the world's most gruesome cases, analyse them, and try to figure out why the perpetrator did their horrible deed. Grab a cup of coffee or tea, find a cosy place, and let's dive into the case of Ali Abulaban. Ali Abulaban is a young man, born on May 18th, 1992 in New York in the United States. He was initially very popular because of his time in modelling and then because of his account on TikTok, who, until the great tragedy that happened, was a well-known star. He is also popularly known for posting dance videos, comedy video clips, and lip-sync videos on his TikTok account. His social media accounts have a large number of followers and millions of views. He got his fame after videos of him went viral on social media incredibly fast. He was also known on the popular platform for imitating celebrities such as Al Pacino, among others. For this reason, fans could not believe what happened on October the 21st, 2021. So what do we know about Ali Abulaban? It should be mentioned that until the time of the crime, he was married to a woman his age named Anna Abulaban. They lived in San Diego in the United States and shared a 5-year-old daughter. From what we can see, they had been in a relationship for many years. It wasn't something purely spontaneous, although of course this does not justify what happened. It turns out that Ali Abulaban in those last moments was jealous of his wife, who in turn at the time had commented to an acquaintance that her relationship with Ali was no longer the same and they were not in a relationship. But for Ali, he wanted to continue having a loving bond. According to the prosecutor, the influencer checked into a hotel after his wife asked him to move, although 3 days later he entered the apartment to destroy it and place a spying device on his daughter's iPad. After several violent incidents that I will mention later, Ali Abulaban, prisoner of jealousy and the uncertainty of what his wife would do in his absence, would investigate her and continue to put a recording device inside the house. Ali later commented that when he had that iPad device activated in his house, in his absence he could hear how his wife was with another man, both supposedly laughing. In a fit of complete rage and a lack of control, Ali Abulaban drove straight to meet his wife and another man at his home. The man, named Rabin Cadenas Baron, had his arms wrapped around the neck of his wife. Seeing this scene, Ali proceeded to shoot them both with a pistol, hitting his wife's friend 3 times and finally shooting her in the head at the Spire San Diego luxury apartment complex where they both lived. According to police reports, surveillance cameras showed Ali leaving the building after the time it all happened, and he was on his way to school to pick up his daughter. According to the police of the city of San Diego, the place where the double crime was committed, they were called to check the apartment at 3:10 in the afternoon that day, where they found the victim.
The door shut, and we have a team in place.
The witness describes the suspect as a Middle Eastern male that goes by the name of Ali. He was wearing a black sweater, hoodie.
And for units, be advised that the suspect described is our RP, Ali, who called this in. He drives a black Jeep Wrangler, the Virginia plate unit George Adams. He left shortly after making the call.
517 yellow, 2 down, inside the apartment. 517 yellow, we're making entry, clearing the residence now.
Clearing the residence for 1475 Island.
Yellow, we're clear. We have 2 down.
4 hours later, they arrested Abulaban, who was travelling in his car with his little daughter. Clearly, there are several questions to all of this. Why did he have to resort to a weapon for the situation? And where did his reaction come from? Firstly, because he presented himself as innocent at the trial, something that makes no sense because of the evidence. He had a gun and he killed 2 people. He also pleaded not guilty, despite the fact that he had already confessed to the crimes to both his daughter and his mother. The second question was, where did the reaction come from? And was there any indication of violence before? The answer was yes. According to the preliminary hearing testimony, the fallout from the Abulaban's marriage was precipitated by incidents of domestic violence and indications that Abulaban had been cheating on his wife with other women. Apparently with this, ironically, Abulaban had previously, according to testimonies, cheated on his wife repeatedly, and what later happened was that she separated from him and his friends, which unleashed a psychopathic side of the famous idol from the social media networks, waiting to commit revenge on his ex-partner. The offences of the young defendant were not only for cheating on his wife, but also offences that became physical. A husband and wife who lived across the street from the Abulabans testified separately that about a month before the shooting, Anna Abulaban knocked on their door and asked them to call the police because she said her husband had hit her. They testified that she asked to use their phone because she had said the defendant had taken hers. They also testified that police had been called to the Abulaban unit several times in the months leading up to the shooting. The defendant was clearly in possession of the weapon before the crime was committed. We can see that the crime had been planned for months, and he only needed an excuse to murder not only his wife, but also the friend of his wife, Baron. Sergeant Christopher Leahy testified that 9 prior calls were made to the couple's apartment since July 2021, but Abulaban was not arrested in connection with any of those incidents. On the other hand, one of Anna's friends told the police that she had planned to obtain a restraining order against the defendant, although no restraining order was ultimately filed, according to the testimony. Something normal that often happens in these cases is that the signs are always clear. Calls to the police, the victim reports the accuser, the neighbours and friends of the victim are generally aware of the cases of violence within the family. Something that also unfortunately happens in these cases is that it always ends in tragedy, in the expected death of the victim. This case was no exception. Another witness in the case, Louis Marinari, Ali's cousin, told NBC San Diego that the suspect, quote, loved his wife so much that he became obsessed with her, and he wanted to control her. He couldn't because she had a great social life and he couldn't control her anymore, and it drove him crazy. I think this is what led him to kill her. End quote. His wife also had, not to the same level as Ali, but a solid fan base on social media, and she was constantly uploading content, which inevitably leads her to be more sociable and open on the platforms. That also surely led the couple into a fight of egos, more on the part of Ali, who saw that his wife also enjoyed a certain level of fame, and perhaps he could not handle it. Not even on the side that she began to have enough suitors, and the insecurity of Ali ended up being deadly. Another important point that the cousin highlighted was that he thought that Ali's fame on social networks, quote, empowered him. I think he made her feel like he was better than other people, and that no one could touch him, end quote. Sometimes fame does that to some people. It raises the ego to levels that can be very negative for others. The killer confessed to detectives and accused his wife of cheating on him, although the prosecutor mentioned that he believed Baron was just a friend. Something that was also strange was that Ali later pleaded not guilty, something clearly surreal, as if he thought that what he did was correct, justifying the murder because they tricked him. Or that was what he said, because according to the prosecution, Baron was just a friend of his wife and nothing more. So, what is the current situation in the case of Ali Abulaban? After the controversy in the media, since he was not an unknown person, but quite the opposite, the initial justice declaration was that he was not entitled to bail, and that he could possibly face the death sentence. Since not only it was an attempted murder, if not multiple, and also illegal possession of a weapon. That is to say, a crime with 3 causes that would hardly let Ali out in a short time. The last time was having a crazy lifestyle in that place. Several encounters in bars and parties that brought problems for the couple. Although that was not really what the others thought, since according to testimonies from friends and even from Ali's cousin, he was not well and was becoming a bad person. In fact, his abuse of cocaine was constant, for what the testimony that Ali gave in the interview is quite questionable. Ali also told the cameras that his use of cocaine had made him crazy and uncontrollable, and that he was very sorry for the loss of his wife. A testimony that is, from the viewer's perspective, quite disturbing, because we could see that months before he had prepared the murder of his wife, and when you see his tears lamenting her death, it is clearly a performance, like so many that he did in his videos on TikTok. This has been the story of Ali Abulaban, the influencer who lost his mind due to fame, drug abuse and jealousy, and then coldly murdered his wife and another person, who according to him was her lover. We frequently see cases like this on television, but almost never from a celebrity, someone we see every day, and that fact left platform users quite shocked, as well as the rest of the world. We're very curious to know if you consider him guilty or not. Until next time, keep your eyes peeled all the time.